riches untold. I'd rather have iron than silver and gold. But just give me a savior, my life he can hold. Oh, I'd rather have iron than silver and gold.
Look how far the Lord brought him. I'm still in awe, cause look at how all them laws taught him. I should be upstate fit and going into the autumn. I needed salvation from self, all praises the Lord saw him. Now I'm moving different like my man Ace. I'm good now cause I can finally understand grace. I'm staying down, it don't matter how long the plan takes. My hands to the plow, it's only right that I landscape. I'm not concerned what a man makes. I'm full speed on this road in this vehicle, got no handbrakes. It's a rocky road and takes skills. I pray Yahweh Shai never let go of the wheel. That's what I call cruise control. Cause without them you can lose control until you lose your soul. Instead of chasing paper, try to make the fold. That's why I'd rather have Yahweh than my weight and gold. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No riches untold. I'd rather have iron than silver and gold. But just give me a savior, my life he can hold. I'd rather have
I'd rather have Yahweh Shai. That's the only name I think of when I prophesy. Now look at I, when they come to my peers, I put my pride aside and put the most high over things I used to idolize. Money, women, the S550s. Used to drive chef in a frenzy. Look how I was forming all them wicked and weapons that was against me. But most high came and he rinsed me immensely. Now I'm lifting my hands in a grateful way to the hills where my help come from day to day. That's the source of my strength, I'm not ashamed to say. Look how you took my crooked paths and you made them straight. Alpha and Omega, far from a dog. I'm on fire like the summer, far from the fall. If there ever was a problem, you the proper call. I choose Abba cause I know this kingdom got to fall. Y'all.
Riches untold. I'd rather have iron than silver and gold. But just give me a savior, my life he can hold. I'd rather have iron than silver and gold.
I'd rather have Abba. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd rather have Abba. I'd rather have Abba.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the promises. Life is a blessing and life is a lesson. Life is a setback and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, written's are the new psalms. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in parables.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful,
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power, I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talk Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lie when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell you. Woke up on a deeper and a surface level. Learned the laws and the laws changed my attitude. And this song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you,
I wanna thank you.
Yahweh. I'm so grateful,
We're so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
Now let it ride.
I wanna praise you. I wanna thank you.
Shalom, shalom. Y'all Bashim, y'all Shabbat watch Marathon. Hope all is well with everybody. Y'all know Thursday night class. Hopefully y'all was in Elders Obbs class just a minute ago. That was a beautiful class. So if not, go back to the YouTube, check it out definitely. This class pretty simple, you know what I mean? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? So I'm gonna touch on a few little areas, to what I mean by that. Everybody's in a hurry to get to the kingdom and stuff like that. And I get it. Oppression makes a wise man mad, right? So I get it. But you got to understand there's things you got to go through and deal with before you get the kingdom. We have to show the Most High that we're even worthy of being in the kingdom. You know what I mean? We got to show that. Salakia, let me pull this up real fast. There we go. All right. So we'll just get right into it. So the first thing is us as Israel, man. We mess up. We make mistakes. You know what I mean? And we got to learn how to overcome these mistakes. We got to learn how to deal with our mess ups. You know what I mean? So let's go here first. Y'all know me. Try not to make the class too long. Everybody be having stuff to do. It's Thursday. All right, so let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 2. And it says, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. You see, so, and this is not just speaking of men in general, it's talking about mankind as well, right? So whether you're a man or a woman, the way of your mind, you think you're right. A lot of times I revert to I go back to scripture to make sure that I'm correct. And I know that's difficult for a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it comes to like emotion, feelings, something that you may be going through, it might be difficult for you to reference scripture in order for you to understand, maybe you're making the wrong move, maybe you're doing the wrong thing, you know what I mean? And then we fall by the wayside and start making mistakes, you see? So let's get Proverbs 16 and verse 2. Proverbs 16 and verse 2 says pretty much the same thing, right? All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. You see, so like I said, a lot of us tend to lean into our own understanding. I noticed that when I lean into my own understanding, things go wrong. And this is for Israel in general, like I said, because we make mistakes, we mess up, right? We mess up. So now we got to enter the race. We got to get into this marathon, right? Because we had things that held us back, right? Let's go to 2 Kings and 17. 2 Kings 17 and I'll start at verse 7. It says, "For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel and of the kings of Israel, which they had made." You see, so we always fall into idolatry, man. Our people, we worship anything. We worship anything but the Most High because we can't see it. And I say this all the time. A lot of people don't follow the Most High because he's not right there in their face. But all your judgments, all your punishments, all your struggles, all your everything comes from him. You see what I'm saying? So you better pay attention, right? Verse 9. "And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing." Like I said, we fall into the ways of the world. We fall into the customs of the world all the time. You know what I'm saying? Customs of the world. Elder Zahar brought out earlier, like the feminism movement and so on, and separation in marriages and so on, right? We fall into that. You know what I'm saying? We are open to divorce. We're open to pagan holidays. We're open to chasing money. You know what I mean? Letting money rule us, stuff like that. We're open to everything that these customs have. This is how we were Gentiles, right? Because it said that we didn't have Christ in us. We didn't have Christ with us. You see what I'm saying? So we fall into that, right? Let's go 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 9. 1 Kings chapter 9 and verse 7. It says, "Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I had given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people." This is why you have names like Negro, nigger, Black, African American, Afro American. You see what I'm saying? They change what they call us every decade. You see what I'm saying? Verse 8, "And at this house, which is high, everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath the Lord done thus unto this land and unto this house? And they shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them and served them. Therefore hath the Lord brought upon them all this evil." See, we always be like, well, a lot of our people, like, see, that's the devil. It's the devil. You know what I'm saying? No, it's the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Them angels and stuff, whether they're on the right hand or the left hand, they can't make a move without the Most High condoning it. You see what I'm saying? We see that in the book of Job. So if you're tempted, remember, you're tempted by your own lust. If you have a lying tongue, it might be that angel, you see what I'm saying, to come put that on you. But it comes from the Most High, right? Let's get 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. 1 Timothy 4 and verse 1 says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Right? What are devils? Deceivers, right? So you have people, I'll say this, a lot of, especially us in Israel as well, right? You know scripture, you know law, so on and so forth. But when it applies to you, when something applies to you, it's not necessarily taking heed to because you don't like the way it goes. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that. It's one way with the Most High or the other. Ain't no in between. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no riding the fence. Ain't none of that. Right? So like I said, like I'm saying, our people mess up, right? Let's get another one. Ezekiel, I really like this chapter. Ezekiel chapter 23. And I'm going to kind of bounce around. Ezekiel 23:3 says, and they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the teats of their virginity. Right? Verse 4. And the names of them were Aholah, the elder, and Aholibah, her sister. And they were mine. And they bare sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Aholah, so this is northern kingdom. And Jerusalem is Aholibah, and this is southern kingdom. And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors, which were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. Thus she committed her whoredoms with them, with all them that were the chosen men of Assyria, and with all on whom she doted, with all their idols she defiled herself. This is our people in America. You see what I'm saying? Why is it referring to it as her? Because remember, when it refers to us as her and, we're the bride and stuff, it's something that's near and dear to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Something that's near and dear to the Most High. We're supposed to be married to him. So when we fall into idolatry and stuff like that, this is why we're called adulterous, harlot. We commit whoredoms, so on and so on and so on, right? Because we're supposed to be married to him. Verse 8. Neither left she her whoredoms brought from Egypt, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured their whoredom upon her. Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians upon whom she doted. And this is speaking of the Assyrians, but like I said, this also applies to this day and age, right? Remember, everything runs in a cycle. Everything runs in a cycle. So this is applying to this day and age too. Our people do this for America. You see what I'm saying? We'll shuck and jive. We'll, I think I mentioned this before. Nick Cannon went out and he told people that he was an Israelite and so on and so on. But they threatened him, right? Threatened to take his stuff away. You know what I mean? And he buckled. He folded. That's something that the Most High is really paying attention to. You see what I'm saying? You folded in knowing who you are and loving the Most High. If that was the case, you might as well not have said anything. All right? Let's go, where are we at? Verse 10. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword. And she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. And when her sister Aholibah saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. You see what I'm saying? So the northern kingdom went off first, and we followed right behind and did worse. You see? Let's drop down verse 18. So she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. So the Most High turned his face from us when we fell into this. right? Our people is we fall into mischief, we fall into wickedness, right? Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 1. Habakkuk chapter 1 verse 1 says, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save? Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. He's praying about us. You see what I'm saying? He's speaking on us. This is what he sees from our people. You know what I'm saying? So our people, just like us in the truth, we can see this from our people because we're very aware. The Most High open our eyes, open our spirits, you know what I'm saying? And we can see our people destroying themselves, right? Verse 4. Therefore, the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore, wrong judgment proceedeth. Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall precede themselves, right? So the Most High is like, okay, the people are doing this. I'm going to send this nation against them. Same with us now, right? We mess up against the Most High. Who do we have against us? Like forever? Esau, right? These other nations are being used as a punishment for us being disobedient, right? Let's go to, remember I said everything comes from the Most High. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians. I typed that twice. Chapter 2. Salakia. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4 says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of the iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Just like we read earlier in Proverbs, right? That the way of a man is right in his own eyes, right? Because the truth is not being believed, or the truth is not being followed. And that comes from the Most High, because he's the one sending that strong delusion on that person or on them people. You see? Here's another one. 1 Kings 22 and verse 20. 1 Kings 22 and verse 20. Says, and the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. See what I'm saying? Everything comes from the Most High. It all comes from the Most High. Isaiah says the same thing, right? Isaiah 66 and verse 4. It says, I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes and chose that in which I delighted not. You see? So this is coming from the Most High. We'll get one more on this. Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create the darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You see what I'm saying? So why people is like, oh, it's the devil. No, this is coming from the Most High. You see, sometimes it's a judgment. Sometimes it's refining you. You see what I'm saying? The Most High is in control of everything. Let me take this off. Y'all don't need to see me. But you ain't got to look at my face all night. All right. So like I said, we mess up, right? We do these things. But then you come to the truth, and then now you in this race. But like I said, it's not a sprint because you're not getting there right away. You got to learn. You got to prove yourself to the Most High. You got to study. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a marathon, right? Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Okay, there we go. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. It says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but receive the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery of Salakia, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. You see what I'm saying? So Paul is telling you that he joined the race, right? He joined the race. And just because, like I said, just because it's a race doesn't mean it's a sprint. It's not a 100-yard dash. This is a whole marathon. You're going to go through things, right? You're going to go through things. Soon as you think that you've won the race, here come another lap. You see what I'm saying? Here comes another lap, right? Let's go Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11 says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. You see what I'm saying? So it's not a swift race. You're gonna go through stuff, right? And I'm gonna go through that too. You're gonna get we have to suffer. We have to suffer. Let's get Hebrews 12 and verse 1. It says, wherefore seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which thou doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we're trying to get to. You're not going to get it right away, right? A lot of people be on their deathbed and be like, "Oh, Lord, forgive me," and think that they're going to receive the kingdom. Nah, you weren't even part of the race. You see what I'm saying? You weren't even part of the race. So what makes you think that you just going to get it right there on your deathbed? Nah. You ain't proved nothing to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? You ain't proved nothing to the Most High. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 19. Book of Psalms, chapter 19. And verse 1. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race." You see what I'm saying? So this is where, this is where we want to be with the bridegroom. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's not a simple run, right? Not a simple one. Let's get Philippians 3. Philippians 3 and 14 says, "I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Yahushua Mashiach." Right? So we got to keep pushing forward to get the prize. Let's go Galatians 5. Galatians chapter 5, verse 7 says, "Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that ye should not obey the truth?" You see, so a lot of our people use excuses, right? I'll come to the Most High when I'm ready, when I feel like I'm in the right place, when I got the right mindset, so on and so on, right? Now, David said he made haste to keep the commandments, right? So we need to do that. If we make haste to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, then we can join this race. We can join this marathon. But like I said, just know that this marathon is hard. Ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. And I think a lot of people drop out of the race because it's not easy. It's easier to fall. It's easier to do wicked than it is to do good. You see? Let's go Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 5 says, "If thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with horses? And if in the land of peace, wherein thou trustest, they weary thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of the Jordan?" You see, so like you said, how can the foot race amongst men have you wearied, and then you expect to compete against horses, right? Because this walk, like I said, this walk keeps you disciplined. You stay disciplined because we know where not to sin. We know the law, so we know what not to do. Do all of us do it? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? I'm not speaking about all of us here in this class, but I'm talking about us in general as Israel. You know what I mean? Probably not, because we want to do what we want, right? Let's go back to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 again. And I'll start at verse 9. "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." Right? So this marathon has been going for a long time. It's been going for a long time. Like I said, as soon as you think you have to finish, here come another lap. Right? Verse 10, "Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us. And that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like people will get very carnal, right? They'll be like, oh, well, we got cars nowadays and they didn't have cars back in the day. No, they had transportation, some form of transportation. We got cell phones nowadays. They had some form of communication. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how it evolved. It was already there. You see? There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Right? This is how we got lost. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things happened during the transatlantic slave trade. Like I told y'all before, the transatlantic slave trade is one captivity that we came out of that we didn't know who we were. All the other captivities, we knew who we were. You see? But nowadays, a lot of us don't know who we are. You'll have Israel argue, you'll have Jakes arguing with us like I ain't no Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And then they get real offensive, right? I ain't no black Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all before, I know me and Captain Zakaria have dealt with a lot of that. You know, being in Clubhouse, debating and all that stuff. You know, we've dealt with a lot of that. You know, our people don't want to be Israelites because they know there's a standard to the Most High and they want to live how they want to live. All right, let's get the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 12. So Paul tells Timothy, fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called and has professed a good profession before many witnesses. Right? We got to fight the good fight. So this is why I'm saying this is an endurance. This is a continuous battle. You know what I mean? This is a continued fight. Right? It's continuous. Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 7 says, I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. This is what we need to do right here. I know the marathon is long. You know what I'm saying? I know it's long. I know when we see the ways of the world, we're fed up, we're angry, we're mad, we're going crazy. You know what I'm saying? This is a long, I know we be like, yep, the end is near, but we don't know how near. We don't have that time frame. You see what I'm saying? So the point is to fight the whole time. Verse 8, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. Paul was sure. You see what I'm saying? Because he did what was right in the sight of the Most High, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. You see? So Paul endured. Remember, Paul was going through a whole bunch of stuff. Remember, like I said, during this race, we got to go through suffering. Why? Because the suffering tries you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for us to see. I was just telling my rib, it's hard for us to see because you're in the fire. And fire hurts. You know what I'm saying? Fire hurts. Fire burns. So it's hard for us to see past the smoke and understand that it's refining us. You know what I'm saying? Understand that it's refining us. So let's go here. Let's get the book of Numbers. Because like I said, we have to go through suffering. I'm going to show y'all that we're going to have to go through it, that multiple people went through it, giving you examples, right? Numbers chapter 33 and verse 55. Numbers chapter 33 and verse 55 says, but if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. A lot of people think that thorn in our sides, like with Paul, like, oh, he dealt with lust. No, it dealt with suffering. It dealt with suffering. You see what I'm saying? The people in the land, there was a little remnant in the land, right? So, but like I said, if we didn't follow the Most High will use other nations against us. You see? Let's go to Acts chapter 9 and verse 15. Acts chapter 9 and verse 15 says, "But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake." You see what I'm saying? So that thorn, it has to deal with suffering. And the Most High already is talking about Paul having to suffer for him, for Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? He's already mentioning this. So we got to deal with the same thing. Right? Let's get Judges. Judges chapter 1 and verse 19. Judges chapter 1 and verse 19 says, "And the Lord was with Judah, and he drave out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron." Right? So like I said, there was a portion of people there for them to be a thorn in our side. Right? Let's go chapter 2. Judges chapter 2 and verse 2. "And ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this?" Right? And we know what a league is, right? It's let's go to it in the Hebrew. It is a covenant, right? An alliance or pledge, right? So when the Most High says don't make a league with them, you know, this is why our people will be punished along with them if we're sitting there joined hands with them. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there joined hands with them and make these covenants, a covenant like Elder Zahab brought out in his class, that sister that was married to that Edomite. You see what I'm saying? We're not supposed to do things like that. You see? Now that sister married to that Edomite, and then if they have babies, now they babies is Edomites and so on. You just wiped away your inheritance, sis. Right? Verse 3. "Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you." Right? Like I said, we deal with this all the time. Just us being in America. It's all across four corners of the earth, but just us being in America, us, this is the type of stuff we do. We fall for their gods, right? Worship their gods, so on and so on. Like I told someone before, anything could be an idol. Anything. You know what I'm saying? The way some people watch sports and how that, you know what I'm saying? Like put sports among a lot of stuff, or what, anything could be an idol. Anything. Right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. It says, "Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me." Salaki. "And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. You see, so Paul is like, I got to endure this. I take pleasure in this because I know it's being done for a reason. But we don't see it like that. We just see the suffering itself because, like I said, fire hurts. Right? Fire hurts. Let's go. So that's Paul, right? Paul is suffering. Remember, they didn't try to kill Paul and all types of stuff. Right? Let's go Exodus chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. See, so we suffer from our own people, dealing with our own people. I look at the state that our people are in, and it's grievous to me. You know what I'm saying? I look at how wicked our people are towards one another, and it vexes me. You see what I'm saying? So you could suffer in many different ways, right? Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 5. Is that what I want? Nope, Salakia, 35. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had ended. You see, so we have a nation that has a forever hatred against us. So we're gonna suffer. Look at the stuff that our people go through: police, prisons, jobs, discrimination, anything, right? You're just gonna go through it, right? Let's look at Ezekiel himself, Ezekiel 24 and verse 15. Ezekiel 24 and verse 15 says, also the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke, yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down. Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the death. Bind the tie of thine head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at even my wife died. And I did in the morning as I was commanded. Ezekiel's wife, Most High killed Ezekiel's wife as an example to Israel of what will happen. The Most High will take things near and dear to us, you know what I'm saying, for a punishment or for a suffering. You see what I'm saying? And we have to continue on in this race. This is what he was showing Ezekiel. You need to continue on. I don't even want you to mourn for her death. You see what I'm saying? I don't even want you to mourn. Let's see about Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, now Pashur, the son of Immer, the priest, who was also chief governor in the house of the Lord, heard that Jeremiah prophesied these things. Then Pashur smote Jeremiah the prophet and put him in the stocks that were in the high gate of Benjamin, which was by the house of the Lord. Right? So Jeremiah got imprisoned. You see what I'm saying? He got beat on and he got put in prison. You see? And I'm going through these because you see that a lot of the prophets had to go through this stuff. So if a lot of the prophets who was doing the work of the Most High was going through this, we have to go through this too. But we have to keep on pushing, right? A lot of times I will I had a conversation earlier. A lot of times I will tuck away my feelings and stuff like that. I'll tuck away what's going on and everything just to keep pushing for the Most High. I'll do that. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that I don't suffer. You know what I'm saying? Shamu Allah did a class the other day, and we was talking about that. Like, sometimes a lot of us suffer in silence, and we just keep on pushing, right? Let's go to 1 Kings. 1 Kings 19. 1 Kings 19 and verse 10, right? So same with Elijah, right? Elijah was being chased down by Jezebel, right? Verse 10 says, and he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant. You see, so Elijah's in like this depressive state because he sees how the children of Israel are. And he's dealing with this Jezebel issue. You see what I'm saying? It says, throw down thine altars and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. Now, the reason I say Elijah's in this depressive state is because he's coming to the Most High. He's praying about this, you see. And one thing he mentions is, even I only am left. Sometimes on this walk, dealing with your family, dealing with your friends, stuff like that, and nobody's on the same page, sometimes you're going to feel like you by yourself. Sometimes you're going to feel like you alone. But you continue to go, right? Most High reassured Elijah, but a lot of us don't just get a direct reassurance from the Most High. We just have faith that we'll get that reassurance. You see what I'm saying? We have faith that the Most High is going to back us. You know what I mean? Like, even if a lot of my family's not in the truth, I know that I have a family with the Most High that he's going to provide. You see what I'm saying? Remember, Yahweh said, who is my brother? Who is my mother? You know what I mean? The ones who do the will of my Father. I have faith in that. So if people ain't on the same page of being in the truth and following the Most High, me personally, whether they're family or not, I keep a fair distance. You know what I'm saying? Because I know who's my brother and who's my sister and who's my mother and father. You see what I'm saying? I know who it is, you know? But that comes with faith. That comes with time. You know what I mean? Faith, time, endurance. And of course, we're going to touch on endurance. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Daniel. Daniel chapter 6. So some of this suffering comes with adversity, right? Some of this suffering comes with adversity. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Right? Kind of just mocking him. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people, don't get me wrong, like, I'm considering being in the truth, I'm mocked by, especially by family. Family's like the first people that'll mock you. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, really? You live like this and you do that? You see what I'm saying? You're going to face adversity. You're going to face these problems. Daniel get thrown in the lion's den. You see what I'm saying? So he's facing this. He's facing what could possibly be death. Right? Verse 17, and a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went into his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither was instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. And then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions. Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Right? Just like I said, it's hard for our people to have faith when we're faced with adversity. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? You stumble. And like I said, it doesn't have to be adversity of death. It could be anything. It could be finance. It could be relationships. It could be your job. It could be your house. You know what I'm saying? What if you're faced with an adversity like, what is that? If you're down on your taxes on your home, and someone comes in and buys your home from up under you, and then they put you out. What if you're faced with something like that? You know what I mean? Are you going to have the faith to just really stand and deal with the suffering and continue to move forward for the Most High? Or are you going to buckle? Are you going to go back to selling dope? You see what I'm saying? Let's get, who else? Let's go John the Baptist, right? Now, John the Baptist faced death, right? Book of Matthew, chapter 14, and verse 3. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. Why? Because she's another man's wife. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod, whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And she being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John the Baptist's head in a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. And his head was brought in on a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. You see what I'm saying? So John was faced with death. He continued on to the last breath, right? Continued on to the last breath. Let's go Yahushua. Who suffered more than Yahushua? You see what I'm saying? Who suffered more than Yahushua? Let's go Isaiah 53 and verse 1. Says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form, no comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Right? This is the prophecy of Yahushua. He is despised and rejected of men, and a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. You see, so this is just multiple prophets and stuff suffering. And like I said, if they had to go through it, if Yahushua had to go through it, we got to go through it. But Yahushua, difference is Yahushua went through it for us. So we can't return the favor. You see what I'm saying? We can't return the favor. Remember, grace means unmerited favor. We did nothing good to receive grace. It's something given to us by the Most High. Right? What's another way you can suffer? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 28. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 28 says, "But and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she has not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you." Right? This is dealing with trouble in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You're going to deal with lust. You're going to deal with all types of stuff. Right? Meaning you may suffer through your marriage. Y'all may argue, fuss, fight all the time. It might come to a point y'all not attracted to one another. You know what I'm saying? It might come to a point where y'all are just moving as robots and just going about things the same way, same thing every day. You know what I'm saying? So you may suffer through your marriage. Like Shamuala said the other day, what if you have a dragon in your house? Or sisters, what if you got a tyrant in your house? You may suffer. Right? Let's go Ephesians chapter 4. Oops. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. Says, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you." I know it's hard for us to suck it up sometimes and forgive your brother or your sister. You know what I'm saying? But we die daily, right? We become that sacrifice. You might suffer a little bit for doing so. It's all right. You're doing it for a purpose. You know what I mean? Because you can't say that you love your brother, or you can't say you hate your brother and then say you love the Most High. Nope. Ain't going to work. All right? Let's get 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1 says, "Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by conversation of the wives." And Elder Zahar brought this chapter out earlier. You know what I'm saying? I already had it written down, but you're supposed to be in subjection to your husband, right? So if you're not, then you just have a rebellious spirit. So now your husband got to suffer in dealing with you. You see what I'm saying? I know that a lot of sisters probably don't view it that way, but if you do have that rebellious spirit, your husband has to deal with you. And now your husband probably might be suffering in silence. You see what I'm saying? Because every which way he turned, does he want an argument? No. You see what I'm saying? And the sister, if she doesn't want an argument, you know what I mean? She might suffer in silence as well if her husband is just a tyrant and just rules over her, all dominant and crazy. You see what I'm saying? Marriage is supposed to be a beautiful thing, but a lot of our ways, a lot of our fleshly ways, tainted. A lot of our westernized ways, tainted. A lot of our westernized thoughts make it okay for you to be like, yep, let's just get a divorce because of anger, finance, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 and verse 24. Hebrews 11 verse 24 says, "By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. You see that? Moses made a choice, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward, right? So Moses chose to suffer with the people, then enjoy the pleasures of sin, right? This should be our mindset because, like I said, you're going to go through it, especially in the truth. I don't know why people think that if they get into the truth that everything's just going to be fine and clear up. Nope, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Let's get one more on this. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Revelation 2 and verse 10 says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." You see what I'm saying? So we have to endure this suffering. We got to endure this suffering. Don't fear the suffering that comes. Embrace it. Know that it's refining you. Know that it's going to make you better. You see? Know that you know this off the bat, especially being in the truth. Know it off the bat that you're going to go through it. Especially if you're faithful to the Most High. Know that you're going to go through it. Right? So by this time, all the nonsense, all the mess that we made, all the mess ups that we did, then we joined the race. And then we're going through these trials, we're going through these tribulations, we're going through this suffering, right? So now at this time, your lungs is burning, you cramping, your body aching, you exhausted. You know what I mean? And like I told you before, here comes another lap. Because it's nothing new under the sun. So here comes another lap. So what do you got to do? Endure. Right? Get the book of Matthew, chapter 13, and verse 13. Book of Matthew, chapter 13, and verse 13 says, "Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand." You know what I mean? A lot of people think that the Most High is just supposed to be, a lot of people think that the Most High is supposed to be how they want him to be. Oh, he's so loving. He's so caring. You know what I'm saying? He's merciful, so on and so forth. Remember, the Most High has mercy on who he has mercy on. Can't nobody determine who he has mercy on. You're not even determining that if he's going to have mercy on you. It's up to him. Right? Stop thinking that he's supposed to conform to you. You're supposed to conform to the Most High. Right? So let's go Hebrews again. Hebrews chapter 3. Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 6. "But Hamashiach as a son over his own house, whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end." Right? We have to hold fast to what we have. We got to stand strong to what we know. We got to continue in on this marathon. Like I said, I know your lungs is burning and you cramping. You know what I mean? You're ready to give up. You're ready to walk away from the race, but you have to continue to go. You got to continue to push. You got to continue to endure this until the end, right? Let's drop down to verse 14. Verse 14 says, "For we are made partakers of Christ if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end." Right? It's not you following the Most High for a period of time. No. It's to the end. No matter what the adversity is, no matter what the problem is, no matter what kind of suffering you're going through, you know what I mean? It's holding it to the end. Holding it to the end. Let's go chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10. And we almost done. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 36. "For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise, right? Endurance comes with patience as well. Don't throw in the towel, like I said, because your body's cramping and you exhausted. Nah, I can probably speak for all brothers on this panel that go out and teach, that teach online, that teach their households, that teach random people who come and ask questions. If they come and be like, oh, what's them on your shirt? You know what I'm saying? I can probably speak for all brothers that do that and sisters that do it as well. It's exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It's exhausting, but you just keep on going, right? Verse 39. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. This is why you have to endure to the end. We believe of the saving of the soul. You see what I'm saying? So you need to endure this race. You know what I'm saying? You got to have endurance. Got to have endurance. And pace yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, with patience, have some endurance, have some stamina, have a certain pace that you're going. You know what I mean? You ain't got to rush. Like I said, this ain't no sprint. Just pace yourself. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 8. It says, who shall also confirm you unto the end, that ye may be blameless in the day of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, right? Until the end. This is continuously said because, like I said, I know a lot of people want to give up, throw in the towel. You know what I mean? Throw in the towel. Sit down, go drink some water. You know what I mean? Have your legs rubbed because they cramped up. Nah. You got to do it to the end. Race ain't over. Race ain't over. We're not in the kingdom, so it ain't over. Right? Let's get the book of Luke, chapter 8. Book of Luke, chapter 8 and verse 15. Says, but that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience. You see, a lot of us lose patience, right? Like I said, especially with like our family. You know what I'm saying? Like you done tried to beat the truth into them. Ever since you got in the truth, and you probably was watching like street teachings, or you probably ran into a camp and they was teaching and stuff like that, and you done heard the truth and it bared witness with your spirit. So now you beating it into everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then you mad and you like, oh, you wicked when they don't follow and stuff like that. Nah, be patient. Like I said, it takes time. It takes time. You know what I mean? It might not be that person's season. See, a lot of us don't think of that. Some of us think that when we teaching the truth, that people should automatically get it and then they come into the truth. No, it might not be their season. It might be for them. It just might not be their time. So who are you to not have patience for them? Right? You got to walk your own walk. You see what I'm saying? Run your own race. You ain't running for no one else. So run your own race. You know what I mean? Give them a hand where you can, but then continue to run your race too. Right? Let's get the book of Colossians chapter 1 and verse 11. Book of Colossians chapter 1 verse 11 says, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light. Right? Patience and long suffering. Right? Remember, Moses suffered us because we were like, remember Moses would let us get divorces for anything just because he suffered us. We were some complaining, whining, nagging people, you know what I mean? And we still do that nowadays. Still do that nowadays. So we got to be patient with one another and be long suffering with one another. And it say do it with joyfulness. Why? Because you helping your people. You know what I mean? All of this comes with endurance. All of this comes with endurance. Some of this marathon is going to have hurdles in it. And then your next lap, you might be running up a hill. And then your next lap, you might be running down a hill and it's going too fast. You see what I'm saying? Let's get James chapter 1 and verse 2, right? My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, right? So when you're going through things in this race, and like I said, if you have hurdles in your race, if you have hills in your race, know that it's working your patience. Verse 4, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. You see? Let's drop down to verse 12. It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. Temptation doesn't have, people think when you hear words, certain words, especially with like a westernized mindset, you hear certain words like temptation. You hear certain words like lust. You hear certain words, simple words, right? Simple words. Just because the way society uses them, it doesn't mean it has to do sexually all the time. You know what I'm saying? It could mean anything. You could be tempted by, smoking. You could be tempted by drinking. You could be tempted by a woman. You could be tempted by money. You could be tempted by, this might be a better job, but I got to work on the Sabbath. You see what I'm saying? You can be tempted by a whole lot of stuff, right? For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. This is where your temptation comes in, right? It's your own lust. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. You see what I'm saying? But what does he say? Endure the temptation. You see what I'm saying? Endure. Go get through it. You know what I mean? Get through it. You know what's right and wrong. Sometimes you might be blinded by something. You know what I mean? You might be blinded by something. We've seen that with David and Bathsheba. David didn't even realize that he did anything wrong until he was told. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we mess up. We make mistakes. We're just not doing them purposely. Right? Let's go Romans chapter 5. Romans chapter 5 verse 3. And then we got one more and we'll wrap it up. Romans chapter 5 verse 3 says, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us. Right? So patience brings experience, and experience brings hope. But in order for you to get these things, you got to go through tribulations, right? You got to go through tribulations. And we'll get one more. Matthew 24 and verse 13. Matthew 24 and verse 13 says, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. Right? So like I said, we endure to the end. Like I told you, all the stuff that we do, stuff that we deal with, we're going to suffer. But like I said, I know your lungs is on fire, cramping, you aching, you exhausted, your head hurts, you dehydrated, but keep enduring. Keep that endurance. Like I said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Right? So with that, I'll leave it right there. Y'all already know, stay tuned for Detroit's class tomorrow and Priest's class on Saturday. And if you didn't catch Elder Zob's class before this class, go back to the YouTube and catch that class as well. Matter of fact, I don't know if you could catch Shamuala's class. I don't know if it's on the YouTube. But if you can, catch that as well. You know what I'm saying? But with that, I'll say Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatam, Washamaratham. Hopefully y'all were edified. And with that, I will say Shalom.
There once was a God-fearing black man by the name of Judas Maccabeus, who looked on the burdens that was rigorously placed on his brethren by the white man, the bringing of whoredom and swine into the house of God, even sending them death threats if they continue to call themselves Israelites. But what struck the emotional bone to the core was the taking of black babies from their black mothers and throwing them off 10-story buildings and mocking as they blood painted the roadways. And the war was waged on that wise.
I can't breathe. I need to get up. I'm not moving without him. I'm not moving without him. Just let me get up. Let me get up.
We howl at the moon until it falls down for us. And we gon' burn it all until it caves down on us. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn them all. Bring back the light. They say we'll fight forever. Well, alright. It starts tonight.
Open your eyes with me. Let's get even in the Eden, fade eyes with me. Rise over enterprise, who gon' ride with me? This that Molotovs, talk, who gon' ride with me? Well, first I need supplies with me. I need a gat, I need a bat, I need supplies with me. Army fatigue, go take under the skies with me. Bomb up under to take them to the skies with me. Couple Muslims say allies with me. Fuck him, he won't live for pig, I need allies with me. I know Josh Small, right? I know sides with me. Rumble bucket is nothing, whoever taking sides with me. I really wonder if my guys with me. But if not, I know my guys with me. Ready to collide with their demise with me. They energize with me. Oh, oh. Buckle the plot, it ain't thick enough. Couple of shots, it ain't thick enough. Buckle the vocal boy, cotton, it just hit him up. And death is not a death, never dealers up. And we gon' bring the light back on the logistics. But the sweet don't trash in my wrist twist. I'll make that thing go right when it spit. Click, clap, clap, clap till it click. And we gon' set the light down while it's lit. Then turn back round like a slip disc. Oh, we gon' turn it back round like a pick six. No, we gon' turn it back round like a triptych. Oh, we don't pick, we don't picnic, we don't pick it, we don't miss fits, we don't miss fits. You hit the hit list, you're getting hit sick. Oh, oh.
We howl at the moon until it falls down for us. And we gon' burn it all until it caves down on us. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn them all. Bring back the light. They say we'll fight forever. Well, alright. It starts tonight. We hold this truth to be self-evident. All men on this earth were created equal. Man shouldn't be afraid of their own government. We have the right to choose our good and evil. And our bombs bursting in the air. We know that our flag ain't there no more. We ain't going home tonight. We have no more tears to cry. We're no longer scared to die. See, Martin said, non-violence, non-violence. said no man is sovereign. Aristotle said fear is voluntary. Huey said this fear is not of death. Whenever death is no meaning. Keep fighting still but stop breathing. Only declaration we believe in. So we the people will come together, take it to another level. Even if we fall, you can't stop us all. Consider this our last manifesto before we reach the sky. Oh my God, I know we gon' win the war. Don't worry about the battle. You just hope and pray we are ready, but not an ammo. Come on. We howl at the moon until it falls down for us. And we gon' burn it all until it caves down on us. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn it all. We gon' burn them all. Bring back the light. They say we'll fight forever. Well, alright. It starts tonight.
He need to go to prison. He don't need to be laying no mental hospital. He need to go to prison, man.
It starts tonight.
He gonna play crazy. He wasn't crazy when he killed my son, man. He wasn't crazy then, but he crazy now. All of a sudden he crazy now. You wanna lay in a mental hospital? You done murdered my son, man, for nothing. When he was trying to get away from you. He was trying to get away from you, man.
Bring back the light.
You kept shooting him while his back was on the truck. You kept shooting him, man.
Well, alright.
You kept shooting him.
It starts tonight.
It starts tonight.